Sandali lang po. Magpo-post lang po ako. I-share ko lang before we actually begin. Ay, ginawa na ko ng style talaga ng director ko ngayon. Hindi mo na, ayan, nakikita na po ang mukha ko. Pero ano pa rin ang screen Parang nakikita ko pa rin yung poster namin. Ayan na po. Nakita ko na. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Kumusta po kayo? And Happy New Year. And as we say here at Pageantry Norms, Happy Pageant New Year 2021 dahil pumasok na naman po tayo sa isang bagong chapter in our lives. And in pageantry, um, it's like we left 2020 without much regret because so many things did not happen. Well, a few did, but it was such an unforgettable year in terms of challenges and the like. So, kumusta po ang inyong New Year celebration? Ako po, masasabi ko lang that it was not as exciting as before, but it's full of optimism. And kaya nga po, as our first episode for the year 2021, I want to focus on individuals who I always associate with optimism na para bang very positive ako every time I talk to them, every time I see them, every time na nagkakaroon ng chance to have a chat with them online and the like. So at this point, shout out lang po tayo for our early birds, Angel of Labason and Maria Nadine Trinidad. We actually we're supposed to have 4 guests this afternoon, but the fourth guest, Raymond Villanueva, sent his regrets because he had a last-minute technical rehearsal for his online show for tonight. So, hindi po siya talaga makakahabol sa ating live broadcast this afternoon. Nevertheless, I am very pleased with my 3 guests this afternoon because they are the individuals I would consider some of my favorite pageant personalities. And for good reasons at that. Kumbaga, may iba-iba pong dahilan for each one of them. Okay? And, shout out po kay Eman Feliciano. Happy New Year! Yes, talagang we need to start the year on a positive note kasi otherwise, hindi tayo mamotivate talaga. Kailangan motivated tayo all the time because yung mga vaccines sa COVID, dumarating na. I hope makasama tayo sa mga bakunahan. Although natatakot po ako because may mga side effects daw ang mga bakuna. But just the same, we're still very optimistic about what will happen this 2021. And so, let me introduce to you my 3 guests this afternoon one by one. Actually marami po ako mga favorite na pageant personalities. I cannot guess all of them at the same time. So I opted to invite 3 of them with me right now. And isa-isahin ko po mga dahilan kung bakit ko sila naging favorite pageant personalities. Hindi po pwedeng mawala dyan ang beauty queens, of course. Now, in my years in pageantry, now I'm introducing my first guest. In my years in pageantry, I've met all sorts of beauty queens, beauty pageant candidates, and the like. Nakilala, marami na po akong nakilala. Hindi po sa mga pictures lang, hindi po sa mga photo ops lang, or hindi sa mga blog articles ko lang. There are many of them whom I have spent time together, spend time with. So, mas nakilala ko po sila. And, ito po, meron po isa pang shout out. Chorel Pahanel, Happy New Year. Hello. Yes, ito pong first guest natin. She was our Miss Universe Philippines back in 2017. To be honest po with all of you, nung first time po kaming nag-meet ng guest natin ito, I never thought that we'd really click. Para bang sabi ko, parang she's kind of distant. Parang I'm not sure if we will hit it off well. But it took this out-of-town pageant judging stint in Ilocos Norte where we spent 2 nights. Hindi lang po judging yan. Nag-June baggy pa po kami sa sa mga sa desert sands sa Ilocos Norte, sa Paway and the like. And then after that, in-invite pa niya po ako to judge for their Kaugma Festival in Camarines Sur. Na mas nakilala ko siya doon along with her special someone, si Governor Migs Villafuerte. Now, this lady, akala lang po siguro ng karamihan parang medyo, yun nga, may pagka-aloof and the like. Pero hindi po. The minute you get to know her, the minute you spend time with her, you can easily tell that she is a true down-to-earth person. Masarap po siyang kasama. Siya po yung tipo ng tao na gusto kong kasama because hindi po siya yung tipong babad na babad sa'yo na para bang when you're with her, na para bang 100% of the time kasama mo siya. Hindi po, it's always quality time with her. So, friends, let us welcome one of my favorite beauty queens, Miss Universe Philippines 2017, Rachel Peters. Hello, Rachel. How are you, Rachel?
Hi,
Please greet our viewers first, Rachel.
everyone. I have no idea how many of you here, but to those who are, it's so good to share this space with you guys. And it's so good to see familiar faces. We were back with Tita Cory and Mama Roo. It just feels good. Like, I know we're not face to face, but to see familiar faces and like the pre-show jitters. That's it. I still get it. And you were saying you get it too. But thank you.
Yeah. Alam niyo po itong si Rachel, the very first time, nga po nag-Ilocos Norte kami nag-gig noon for Miss Ilocos Norte. Tapos pinasyal kami. Ito pong si Rachel, bigyan niyo lang po yan ng surfboard, bigyan niyo lang siya ng mga aso at tubig, masaya na yan. She's so easy to please actually. When she saw dogs, oh, she plays with the dogs. When she saw a surfboard, oh, I want to to go to the water and may tubig din doon. And then, ano siya, kumbaga, alang keme, walang arte. Akala ko noong una, parang sabi ko, parang ang social nito. Pero nasa airport pa lang po kami mapunta ng Ilocos Norte noon. Parang, ay, hindi pala. Ano pala niya? Simpleng tao lang pala siya. Oo, siya mag-gown yan. But the minute you really spend time with her, ay, totoong tao po siya. And natutuwa ako doon. Pero ang hindi ko po malilimutan ginawa sa akin ni Rachel ay nang dinala niya ako sa Camarines Sur for Kaugma Festival. Hindi ko na po ikukwento in full detail, pero he really made me feel so welcome there. Siya at si Governor Mix. Ang saya-saya ko lang noon. It may have been just an overnight stay, pero I left my heart in Camarines Sur because I was being dragged on the floor of the airport to check in because my hangover was so strong. Ano masasabi mo doon, Rachel?
Well, that's and that's the thing. Like, I'm from Camsor, as many of you know, and it really was a huge coincidence that Migs is also from Camsor. We actually met because of Miss World. So thanks, Tita Cory. But yeah, I mean, we love having people here. We love sharing this place with everyone. And of course, when people come, we always want to show them a good time. So you're always welcome. Anytime.
Ay, Diyos ko, alam mo, Rachel, if I could only travel, I would. I would never hesitate to go back to Camsur talaga. Ay, Diyos ko. Naku, friends, alam niyo po ginawa sa akin ni Rachel nung gabing yun. Diyos ko. Pinakain ko muna niya kami ng marami. Tapos mamaya, non-stop na po kung ano na po yung nainom ko. Sabi ko, para po siyang pharmacist. She would arrive one at a time. Okay, try this. Try this. And then, since si Governor Mix was seated beside me, si Governor Mix naman would say, okay, Tito Norman, sige, drink this. Drink this. Because, okay, oh, this tastes like an antihistamine. Oh, this tastes like an anti-allergy or something. Oh, this tastes like paracetamol. Ano ba yun? But I was so happy that time. Ang saya-saya ko lang po talaga. And I wouldn't mind spending time again with her and Governor Mix kapag nagkaroon ng chance to go to Camarines Sur. Pero Rach, kwento mo naman sa amin, kahit very briefly lang, yung tuwang-tuwa ang mga tao sa iyo during the holiday, well, before Christmas actually yun, when you were reported to have saved someone from drowning in the waters. Sa Kamsur ba yun o sa Siargao?
It was
Kamsur
here.
ba yun?
Yeah.
Ano ba? Kasi ako, when I read that news article, ang sabi ko sa sarili ko, that's typical Rachel. She would do something like that. Sabi ko nga, ano yan eh, hindi magdadalawang isip. She would never think twice about doing it. Pero parang give us a brief account of what really happened then.
Well, to be honest, I never thought that people would be talking about it. Like, there were so few people on the beach, actually. Okay, so let me rewind a little bit. My dog actually passed away in the early hours of that same day. So we were camping. We were there for a relief program. It was organized by his best friends. And it's really far. There's like very little cell service. Everyone was there with their 4x4 trucks, and we were camping. And in the middle of the night, I got a phone call from the vet to say that my dog didn't make it. And so I couldn't sleep. And as soon as the sun came up, I got out, and I was like, you know what? I just need to go be by myself. I need to clear my mind space. So I grabbed a board and I went out by myself. And normally that's like a big no-no. But voila, I just thought, I'm just going to sit on the board and whatever. And then all of a sudden, may dumating another guy. But I was like in the zone on my own. And then I realized that I was so far na, and I got scared. So I started coming in, and the guy was still there. So I was just kind of sitting on the board closer to the shore. And then all of a sudden, everyone came running down because they could hear someone screaming down, and he was doing this na. But the crazy thing is, I was at the beach, and we were maybe, I don't know, 200 meters away from him. But from the beach, I guess because of the waves, we couldn't hear anything. So no one on the beach, all of his friends were there. We had no idea until everyone came running down. And there was a rip current. So he was really getting sucked by this rip current. And everyone was trying to figure out what to do. So everyone was on the beach panicking. And then I started to go towards him, and everyone was like, no, you can't go. It's dangerous. Come back. And then it was kind of like, I don't know, 5 minutes of everyone just freaking out. But then I was thinking, like, if this was me, how would I feel if no one came to my rescue, like, straight away, Like, how is he okay? So I just left. And I was swimming. I was with my surfboard. I was paddling towards him. And I was just kind of, you can see the rip current, like it's very strong. So I was scared. And so I kind of kept my distance for a while, and I was yelling to him, and I was saying, grab your board. And then in those moments, he lost his board, which is when it gets really scary because you have nothing to hold. So if you get dumped by a wave, it's hard for you to come up and get air when there's more waves coming. So I don't know. It was really just adrenaline, I guess. I just kind of went in, and I went towards him, and all of a sudden he was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I too late? Was I like a few seconds too late? And then lang lumabas siya on the other side naman kasi the water was really pulling him under and pushing him out on another side. And so I went and I threw my board to him, and I said, look, hawakan mo. And he was so traumatized. He was like, hindi, ayoko nang sumakay kasi dinadala ako ng hold it. And then we kind of went in together. Buti na lang, in the sort of area where we came together, there was a big rock. So I used my legs to push out of the rip current. And then yun lang. I mean, it wasn't anything like, major. But yeah, I'm just really glad he's okay. Turns out he has 3 children. One of them is a young baby, uh, and he just will never forget the look on his face. And throughout the rest of the day, I kept looking and just making sure he's okay. And he just had this like very sad look on his face. I mean, you know, I'm sure he's very grateful to have like a second chance, but I, I also feel for him because of the fact that it took so long for people to realize that he was out there having a hard time. And he said to us, he was like, he took off all his clothes to be able to float easier. And he said, like, dragged down and he was ready. Like, he was saying to us, he took one last big breath and pushed one last time. And that was the moment that he finally saw something towards him. So apparently he had like I don't know, like a boost, knowing that there was he was gonna be okay. I guess. Grab it. Like my hairs are standing talking about it. But also, I didn't post about it because I mean I didn't want to like advertise it or anything. I don't even know how it got picked up. Actually, Migs posted about it, and I told him you should post it about it without the consent of the guy, but already too late. um, at the end of the day, he's okay, and I'm glad that he's back with his family, safe.
Actually, viewers, the reason why I asked Rachel to tell us about that incident to show you what kind of a person this lady really is. Yung instinct niya talaga, kumbaga, she's very protective. She will look out for you. Kung ako yung naroon sa surfboard na yon na inaagos-agos, ay my goodness, for sure, hindi lang yan basta-basta. Talagang hahanapin ako niyan. Magpapa-search and rescue operation niyan. Pag nalaman niya, Tito Norman, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Are you underwater? For sure. For sure. Kasi maalaga talaga. And it just goes to show that she really deserves to be the first lady of Camarines Sur. Kasi yung, ano, alam mo, ako, tama naman po, ang dami nagpa-shoutout sa'yo dito. Naloloka ako, Rachel. Shoutout daw to Rachel. Pati yung coffee shop mo, ang ganda, ang sarap-sarap daw ng vibe doon sa coffee shop mo. Ay, Diyos ko, bago po ako makapunta sa coffee shop ni Rachel, sabi ko, pupunta po muna ako sa Camp Sur para, pero pag po nagpunta ng Siargao, sige po. Ang dami po nagpa-shoutout sa iyo. Marbian Urfe, Joey Sobrino, Jeron Oceana, Daniel Hernandez, Mark, Lawrence Amelia. Diyos ko po, ang dami-dami nag-shoutout kay Miss Rachel Peters. Nakakaloka lang. Oo.
Everyone.
Kaya talagang, hindi, kasi po, I just want you to know, kasi baka sabihin nyo naman na I just selected at random 3 as my favorite pageant personalities. Pero pinili ko po sila because I was able to share some quality moments with them in the past. Kami nga po ni Rachel sa Ilocos Norte namin at saka sa Camp Sur. And mas nakikilala mo talaga ang isang tao the minute you spend quality time with them. It doesn't matter if it's just a number of hours, overnight, 2 nights, you will get to know them better. Sabi ko nga po sa inyo, bigyan nyo lang si Rachel ng aso, ng surfboard, tsaka ng tubig. Buhay na po yan. Tapos makainin nyo na ng konti. Hindi lang po malakas kumain yan. Diyos ko, para ma-maintain ang kanyang 21-inch waistline. Na sinasabi po niya ay 28 na daw ngayon. Pero napakadali lang sa kanya to really get back to shape. Lalong-lalo na po. Yes. Opo, pero pag kinasal na po yan, pag naging Mrs. Villafuerte na po yan, soon, malalaman niyo po yan. I-guess ko po siya uli. At pag gines ko po siya uli, kasama na niya si Governor Migs. For sure. Hindi na siya pwedeng umatras. Dito pa lang at the live broadcast, I'm already telling everyone that the minute na meron na pumalinaw na wedding plans, i-guess ko po sila. May ang lovebirds. Rach, I'll just introduce our 2 other guests para may group discussion tayo later. My second guest is Well, kung si Rachel po ay parang pamangkin sa akin, kasi gano'n nga po, because in the industry, I am more popularly known as Tito Norman. So the ladies, the beauty queens, the candidates, they would always call me their Tito. So parang mga pamangkin ko po ang mga yaan. Ito po susunod, parang sister ko po ito. Matagal ko na po siyang kilala. Every time we see each other, um, wala pong kaplastika na talaga. We talk about everything. And when I say everything, wala pong pinipiling subject matter. Lahat po pwede namin pag-usapan. Actually, early last year, we were together during yung sa Miss 2020 in Misamis Oriental. And kami po ang magka-roommates niyan. Po. Kahit po kami magka-roommates niyan, wala po. Very professional po kami. Kaya, mas nagkakilala kami mabuti noon. Pero matagal ko na po siya talagang kilala. And now that he is the general manager of Miss World Philippines organization, parang hindi naman po full circle pa. Pero nag-full circle na siya sa pageantry because he used to be part of Aces and Queens at the same time that he was a corporate guy working for one of the multinational companies. And now he's working with Mr. Arnold Vigafria. He's the other Arnold, actually, at Miss World Philippines organization. Friends, let us all welcome the people fondly call him Mama Ru. I also call him Mama Ru. Mr. Arnold Mercado. Hi, Mama Ru.
Hello, Tito Norman, and hello to the viewers of Pageantry Norms.
Ay, Diyos ko, kapapasok pa lang yung Maro. Dami na nagpa-shoutout. Naloloka na ako, Diyos ko. Kasi daw nakita daw nila biglang yung alindog in the,
Oh my God.
in the screen. O kumusta ang Christmas and New Year mo, Mama Ru?
Very simple. I spent it at my sister's house here in Parañaque. I'm actually staying here now in Parañaque. I'm no longer in Mandaluyong. I'm staying with my sister and my two nieces here in Parañaque. So, we spent
Nakakaloka ka, Mama Ru. Diyos ko, pareho lang pala tayo. We're in the same city. Nakakaloka.
Totoo ba?
Yes, I'm also in Parañaque. So, ano tayo? Kumbaga,
Neighbors.
we're not far from each other.
Correct. So,
Yeah, okay.
yun. It's a simple celebration. Unlike the previous years na medyo bongga. So, simple Noche Buena and medyo Noche during the New Year. Tapos, bawal ang fireworks, ang firecrackers. So, meron lang kaming, torotot. So, ganun. Plus, I turned on my vehicle. Tapos, medyo busina-busina para may konting ingay during the New Year. Pero it was a very simple celebration.
Alam mo po, nakakatawa dito kay Mama Ru is that pag po kami lang, hindi ko lang talaga pwede i-broadcast na pinag-uusapan namin all the time. Pero ano po talaga, wala po kami ka-plastikan whenever we talk to each other na hindi na po kami nag-i-inacti pa. But we talk about things very openly. And natutuwa ako talaga na pareho kami ng niyan sa pandemic, yung bang umiiwas kami sa mga gatherings sa dalay. Kaya agad gusto po namin umatay ng mga press con, iniiwasan po muna namin talaga because sa akin po, it's really hard because I'm staying with my mom. So hindi ko pwedeng i-risk yung fact na baka bumalik ako dito sa bahay, may natangay na akong virus. Ikaw, Mama Ru, how have you been dealing with this pandemic ba?
Well, tama ka tulad ng sabi mo, I'm actually avoiding yung mga public and mga medyo mas madaming mga crowded na lugar. Like, for example, mamaya actually, I have an invitation for Mutya ng San Pablo. Mutya and Lakan ng San Pablo. Because our reigning Miss Ikotin Philippines and Miss Ikotin International, Roberta Tomandong, is a product of Mutya ng San Pablo. So, I was supposed to be there later, pero sabi ko, hindi, si Roberta na lang po. Yun. Oo. And yung, kasi as much as possible, yun nga, I'm not getting any younger, so kailangan medyo laging safe. So as much as possible, dito lang ako sa bahay. So lumalabas lang ako kapag may kailangan talaga ng mga necessities dito sa bahay na kailangan uh, to buy those things, those necessities. Tapos, I go to work siguro twice, thrice a week lang. So, yung other days, work from home. But, pag pumasok na yung Mr. World and Miss World Philippines,
Ay!
wala.
Ayun na. Oo, wala ka ng choice talaga pag
Wala
gano'n.
nang choice.
Wala nang choice. At wala na rin akong choice pag gano'n, pag nagsabi ka na sa akin.
Ayan nga. I will take this opportunity, Tito Norman.
Ay! Oh,
Sa show mo mismo na maraming nanonood that I'm inviting you to be part of the screening committee.
ay, naku, yun po eh. Para ako talaga.
So para wala ka ng tanggi.
Tumataba ang puso ko, Maru. Tumataba ang puso
Bakit?
ko.
You deserve it, Tito Norman.
Natutuwa lang ako. Natutuwa lang ako talaga because it's always an honor to be invited pag mga screening na ganyan. Ako natutuwa talaga. And alam mo naman, Diyos ko, pag tayo pa magkatabi pag screening na ganyan, Diyos ko, magkukurutan lang tayo na, ay, Diyos ko yan. Ay, Diyos ko yan. Diyos ko yan. Mga ganun lang. Kasi masarap po talaga makasama sa trabaho pag yung tao is wala ka ng mga arty-arty pa in talking to. Kumbaga parang kung pag hindi ka gusto, sasabihin mo and it's so easy. And with Mamaru, gano'n na nga. Yung sinasabi mo kanina, dapat nasa Mutya and lakan ng San Pablo ka later. Diyos ko, ako napakadami kong pinalampas ng judging. Tumudugo na ang puso ko at bulsa, Mamaru, sa mga pinalampas ko. Mga out of town pageant judging na ganyan because it's really hard to take a risk, baka mamaya kung ano pa mangyari sa atin. Alam mo naman, pag tayong mga ganitong mga maalalindog na mga parte ng pageantry, baka mamaya yung ganda natin biglang mawala na lang kapag mahirap na pag ganoon, hindi ba? Diyos ko. Well, anyway, I'll just introduce our third guest, Mamaru, tapos mag-group discussion na tayo. Our third guest this afternoon po, ito po yung the very first time that we actually met during her time as the head of Miss World Philippines back in 2011. 2011. Ang tingin ko po sa kanya talaga is parang bathaluman na hindi maabot. Parang hindi ko po siya ma-reach. Pero actually, the minute talaga na mas makilala mo siyang mabuti and you get to know her better, you just know that she's just this very caring and very gracious individual who will make you feel comfortable immediately. I remember during the screening of Mutya Pilipinas 2019, the last one, sa old normal, and she invited me dun sa screening. And she would always look out for me and say, "Oh, have you eaten?" Or si Norman, oh yan, ano ba? Oh, bigyan niyo ng upuan yan, oh yan, and everything. She was very attentive to me, and importante po kayo sa akin yun when someone gives you importance, tapos president pa siya ng Mutya Pilipinas. So friends, let us welcome the Queen of Wellness, the ageless Mutya Pilipinas President, Miss Cory Quirino.
Hi.
Always beautiful. Always beautiful.
Ate Cory ako and you're Tito Norman, Ate Cory.
Yeah. Ako naman, Miss Cory, ako, kumbaga, kaya kita mo tawag ko sa'yo palagi, Miss Cory, Miss C, because parang there's this element of mystique palagi, para pang M16 ng James Bond and the like. How are you, Miss Cory? How are you?
Ito, surviving 2020 and getting more energy and inspiration for 2021. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng ating mga kaibigan.
Yes. Kumusta ang Christmas and New Year mo?
Tahimik. Siyempre, focused only on the family and a few close friends, pero bawal talaga mga reunions, di ba? So, siyempre, very carefully and cautiously, we celebrated and welcomed the Christmas. 2020 at syempre ang bagong taon 2021, quiet din. Maraming nag-imbita sa akin na mag-party o at least have some kind of celebration. Sabi ko, exactly at the stroke of midnight, nakapajamas na ako. Okay? I'll say a prayer para maging mas maingat at mas masagana ang ating 2021. So that's how I celebrated New Year's Eve 2020.
Ay, pare-pareho lang tayo, Miss Cory, talaga. We really need to keep safe all the time. Although, for the information po of many, among our 3 guests this afternoon, siya lang po ang nakita ko in the middle of pandemic. Pero, ano lang po yun? By accident lang po yun because we both were having lunch in a 5-star hotel, 6-star hotel. At naroon din siya. So, binati ko muna. Diyos ko, hindi ko pa nga siya ibeso sana. Sabi ko, oh my God, mabuti lang, hindi ako nag-wakto na parang magbebeso and everything. Dahil nga, puro elbow na lang ang ginagawa talaga ngayon.
Oo nga eh. Ang daming bawal kasi. So, actually, nagulat ako nung nakita kita nung sa Shangri-La. Sabi ko, teka muna. Pwede na palang lumabas. It was my first time to go out.
Pareho tayo, Miss C.
Diba?
Yes.
Na-nervous ako. Sabi ko, did I do the right thing? Kasi ito sa a reunion from my friend from the Netherlands, hindi ako makahindi. Kaya yung grupo namin dun sa dulo, di ba? Ang dami namin.
Yes.
But when I saw you, sabi ko, baka mukhang okay na. And then I bumped into many friends that same day in the same hotel. So sabi ko, kung maging mas maingat po tayo, we can still get back our old normal or our normal in a very cautious way. Kaya naman po natin yun.
Yes, the key word, Miss C, is cautious. Kailangan talagang very cautious. Actually, yung nung nagkita tayo nun sa Shangri-La, hindi ko rin talaga mahindian lang yung invitation noon because the family who invited me flew all the way from Tacloban. So, para namang, oh my God, lumipad pa sila from Tacloban, tapos in-invite ako for lunch. Mag-aarti pa ba ako? So, kaya, yun.
So, parang
Nagkita
nag-iinip
tayo.
sa akin when I saw you eh.
Oh, ang dami nagpapa-shoutout din kay Miss Cory dito, kay Nico Miro, Panfi Katuday. May nakakamiss na rin sa'yo, Miss C. Yun. Kay Miss Walmy pala, for me and Mamaru, marami shoutout kay Walmy, the mother of our Miss Ecotin International, Roberta Tamundong, J.M. Rector Anyada, Amiel, John Resio. Ang dami ko nagpapa-shoutout. Just puro mga gusto ang mga guests ko this afternoon kasi puro mga maalindog daw. Eman Molino, hello daw, Miss Cory. Nakakatuwa lang. Yan. So, we will go now to our group discussion. Kaya babalik na po natin ang ating two other guests. So, the 4 of us will share one frame talaga. Direct 2x2 na po kami ngayon because we will start now with our discussion about Philippine pageantry in 2021. Sisimulan ko sa iyo, Miss Cory. What's your outlook for pageantry in 2021?
Oh, hindi ba yung sinabi ko, cautiously we will approach 2021 beauty pageantry, especially for Mutya ng Pilipinas. By the way, I have to clarify. Yung legal name ng Mutya ng Pilipinas ay Mutya ng Pilipinas. That's our legal name. Di pwedeng tanggalin yun at palitan. I changed it to Mutya Pilipinas kasi for marketing purposes and even to make it more, I think, friendlier and to make it easier to remember kasi karamihan ng mga tao, ang pag nakikita nila yung mga candidates namin, sinasabi nila, yung mga Mutya. So in the end, ang nickname din namin ay Mutya. So to tell you that that is our name. That is our name, Mutya Pilipinas. Kasi yung daming nagtataka bakit hindi namin pinalitan legally, our name is Mutya ng Pilipinas.
Yun naman kasi, Miss Cory, na sabi mo Mutya Pilipinas, it takes some getting used to at first. Pero ako ngayon, sanay na ako, Mutya Pilipinas, Mutya, kumbaga, niluluksan ko na talaga yun lang for purpose of blogging and promoting. Pero alam ko na Mutya ng Pilipinas.
At least it flows more smoothly if you say Mutya Pilipinas. But going back to your question, magkakaroon ba kami ng pageant itong taon na ito? Sa tingin namin, magkakaroon po kami ng pageant. Pero hindi natin alam with the behavior of this mutated coronavirus, kung gaano ka normal magiging ang aming pageant, kung magiging face-to-face o magiging hybrid pageant. But definitely, Mutya Pilipinas is going to have major activity this year. Kaya to all the candidates, andito po kami para sa inyong lahat.
Ay, gusto ko yon magkakaroon. Kasi ako, for sure, ma-excite na ako ni Mama Ru sa sasabihin niya dahil ang Miss World Philippines Organization, ano ang plano ng MWPO for 2021, Mama Ru?
Hopefully, we will have a pageant by, may dates na actually, dalawa,
Ay!
yung pinagpipilian namin, May 30 or June 6. Okay? So, Sunday yon parehas. So, either of the two dates, yun ang titingnan namin sa ngayon so far. So, we're also speaking to two provinces, somewhere north, hindi Baguio. Somewhere north. Oo. Dalawang provinces na to host the beach beauty competition. Okay? And like what I said earlier, we will be doing a first round of screening end of January or early February. And kasama ka doon sa screening committee na yon, Tito Norman.
Salamat po.
So, again, may venue na rin kami. Yung specific date, hindi pa lang alam. But probably last week of January or first week of February, we will have a first round of screening. Ang venue is the Victoria Sports Plaza. So may venue na rin. So yung specific date lang, yung specific date lang ang wala pa. But we will do it siguro in batches. Hindi pwedeng madamihan.
Yes.
So siguro may time slot per 5 candidates or 5 applicants. Tapos another 5 sa next 30 minutes, parang ganon. So, we'll figure it out. But, ALV, my boss, is planning to hold yung normal, quote-unquote, na pageant. If, like what Miss Cory said, depende sa behavior ng ni COVID, ng virus, at saka kung papayagan tayo ng government to hold a pageant, a normal pageant, by May 30 or June 6, or like what the other pageants, na national pageants in 2020 did, virtual pageant siya. But ako, personally, ayoko ng virtual. Si ALB, ayaw rin niya ng virtual. But again, it depends on the behavior of this virus and kung papayagan tayo ng government. But we will definitely have a beauty pageant, a Miss World Philippines pageant this year. And 2 of our reigning queens are yet to compete abroad. So, may dates na, yung Miss Eco Philippines natin, Miss Eco International, si Kelly Day will compete in Egypt sometime aalis siya ng March. So, April 6, I think, ang pageant. Tapos, si Isabel De Leon, yung ating Miss Multinational Philippines, will go to India. May dates na rin by June. So, and, ang daldal ko, dami ko sinasabi. Yung Miss World Philippines, sa pageant namin this year, will have parang 7 titles yung confirmed na. Miss World Philippines, Miss Supranational, Reina Hispano-Americana, Miss Eco Teen, Miss Multinational, tsaka Miss Tourism Philippines, and my 8th, may 8th, oo.
8th title!
Yes, may 8 titles, the 8th title kami, but confirm na rin yon, but syempre ayoko munang i-preempt, magkakaroon kami ng mga teasers in the coming days. Yun ang gusto kasi nung organizer, nung owner nung international pageant na yon. So may 8
Ay,
title pa.
nanuloka ako. May pang-walo na talaga. May pang-bongga
Yes.
talaga.
And imagine,
Nanuloka.
meron kaming 10 winners on stage.
Yeah, oo. 8 title holders and 2 princesses. No? Ay, ibang level talaga. No?
Yes.
Talaga. Diyos ko.
And pala,
Yeah.
hopefully, we had an initial meeting nung December with a jeweler. And he is commissioned to at least produce at least one, the major crown, the Miss World Philippines crown. And ngayon pa lang, sinasabi ko, if plans will push through, ito yung pinakamahal na crown sa lahat ng pageant.
Ay, naluka ako sa pinakamahal. Corona. Diyos ko, ano ba yan? Pabonggahan ngayon, ano? Kaya na-excite ako for 2021. Ikaw nga, Rachel, matanong nga kita. What are your thoughts about pageantry doing virtual? Yung mga virtual na yan. Kasi you've experienced everything in the old normal. Naka-mute ka yata, Rach.
Am I good? Can you hear me now?
Good.
Okay. I feel like it's a tough one, you know, because especially for the girls, they had put in the training, they studied for it, and obviously it's a shame for the pageant not to push through. But also, I feel like it's quite words, but I feel like it's a little bit sad, girl. You know, the whole thing about pageantry is, you know, the whole it is pageantry, right? So it's people dressing up to come and watch you, people screaming for you, and I feel like that's a huge. And it's, I mean, I've not been in a virtual pageant, so I cannot say. But if it were, like, if I had a pageant, I would hold off first until there was a way to do it safely, of course, with an audience. Because, I mean, it's hard for people to really see and feel through it. But then again, it's amazing what businesses and other pageants have done to be able to adapt. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Virtual pageants are still exciting and they're great. It's an opportunity for people to still continue doing what they do and for girls to stay motivated as well. But nothing beats the real deal.
That's true. I agree to that, Rachel. Pero ito, I'll ask another question. What can you say? Because I got information that Miss Universe is, well, considering. I'm not saying that it's final. They're also considering a virtual. What do you think of a virtual Miss Universe pageant? Parang, my God, parang it doesn't excite me anymore pag virtual ang Miss Universe.
How does that work? Like the candidates stay in their countries?
Yeah, and they will just send in all their photos, videos, and the like. And that's why I don't really like virtual pageants because it's different. I think I can sum it up with what one of my guests before said. Ang virtual pageant daw, kung telegenic ka or photogenic ka, swerte ka. But if you're not, and you're better appreciated in person, malas mo because you have to pass through a video or photos all the time, and you cannot really give your 100% when everything is done in video. Miss Cory, ikaw, what do you think? Ako, Mutya kasi, I've always thought of Mutya, yung niche nila kasi are Filipinas with the prettiest faces. Kumbaga, pretty face palagi ang Mutya.
So, thank you, Norman. At sa totoo lang, marami sa mga nanalo sa mga malalaking titles na sa beauty pageantry sa Pilipinas, Many of them started in Mutya ng Pilipinas. And when I joined the organization in 2019, I came out of my retirement from Pageantry.
Yes.
I hindi ayoko talagang bumalik sa pageantry kasi nakakapagod. It is so
Mm.
exhausting. Kayong ginagawa ni Mama Ron, ako 10 titles na po. But you see, ang kapalit dyan ay ang kaligayahan ng isang kandidata na natuloy ang kanyang pangarap maging beauty queen. That is so fulfilling and satisfying. How you see them grow and blossom. So, kahit virtual or hybrid, hindi rin matatanggalan ang face-to-face ng judges. The judges still have to see the candidates. Kahit saglit lang. But you see, the crowning and shining moment of a candidate is live on stage. On the spot pag nag-Q&A yan. Or the minute she steps onto the stage and it's like the spotlight is shining on her or the sun is shining on her star is shining. Alam na ng mga judges kung sino ang mananalo. It's like destiny. It really is destiny. So, I know what Rachel is saying. I saw her grow in the pageant when we were together. I'm very proud of her. And I'm also happy with the story, the love story, the blossoming of a love story during that time. So happy for her. So happy.
Yeah, yes.
Ako wala
Yun
ka
na.
na yung judge
Oo
namin,
nga.
Governor Mix, may crush na pala kay Rachel.
Ay! Nako, nakakatuwa. Sana nanonood si Mix ko para marinig niya. Yes.
He was
You
not
know-
though. Can I
He was a judge he was a judge. In his own way, he was a major judge for us.
Oo. In his own way.
So, but I'm so happy, you see. I love all these stories. And up to now, I'm still in touch with many of my former queens. And they've moved on with their life. They keep me posted. If they got married or they get me as ninang and they're planning to have a baby. This is the thing that makes pageantry so worthwhile. Kasi especially for me, when we do a pageant, I treat my candidates like my own daughters.
Yes. Yes.
So, ayun. And that comes with the love and nurturing of a mother for her candidate daughters. So you see, it's what Rachel is saying. It's also difficult and sad that you will take away that shining moment of a candidate when she wins the crown and when she's actually crowned. Yan ang pinakamahirap sa virtual. As much as possible, if we can, na it's safe, it's completely safe, because you have to think of the safety of the candidates. You are responsible for them. So, and you take responsibility with all the risks and everything that has to do with any kind of pandemic or even just their safety alone. So, yes, as much as possible, we would like to do a traditional, normal pageant. Bakit hindi? But for now, in the first 2 or 3 months, we are going to study the situation very carefully. Pero hanggat maaari at hanggat kaya po natin, we are going to have a pageant. Whether hybrid or traditional, it remains to be seen.
Thank you for that, Miss Cory. Mama Ru, ako kasi kilala ko si ALV. Hindi yan papayag talaga sa isang virtual pageant because
Yes.
wala eh. Kumbaga, walang excitement talaga. Kumbaga parang you remove everything that makes it the true entertainment na inaasahan ng mga tao. So, ano ba, very, very, very brave ba and courageous talaga si ALV for 2021, Mama Ru?
As like I said earlier, we're planning to do the pageant ng hindi virtual, ng totoo yung totoong pageant. But as what Miss Cory said, ganun din depende sa sitwasyon, depende sa kung papayagan ng government. Ang alam ko, payag sila to do parang 50% lang of the venue ng audience, pwedeng ganun lang. 50% lang ang capacity, yung capacity ng audience. So, but yun ang plano namin. Ang plano ni ALV is to do a normal, traditional pageant. But then again, yun nga, katulad nga, depende sa sitwasyon, pwedeng gawin naming virtual. But, yung sa screening, definitely, kailangan face-to-face. We will do it in a way na, siguro nga, yung tulad ng sabi ko kanina, by batch, to iba pa rin talaga yung nakikita mo physically ng face-to-face yung mga candidates eh. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Kaysa doon sa... Tsaka yung, tama yung sabi ni Miss Cory, during the crowning moment, hindi na yung reaction nila pagka na-crown sila, in-announce sila, parang naiiba eh. I've seen mga virtual pageants, not to parang discredit them, pero dahil maganda naman yung pagkagawa nila ng mga virtual pageants, pero iba na kasi yung reaction nila pag mga virtual pageants eh. Hindi nakaka-capture yung totoong moment noong crowning niya, nung in-announce na siya as winner. Okay?
Tama.
So, as much as, correct, iba po, Miss Cory. So, as much as possible, gusto sana namin is yung traditional na pageant. Depending on the situation.
All right. Ikaw, Rach, since you have experienced everything in the old normal, and the upcoming beauty queens and beauty pageant candidates will experience things more differently this time around, what advice can you give to them? Na para bang, okay, you've been there, you've done that, you've had your achievements and all, and now that everything is in the new normal, syempre, iba na magiging experience ng ating mga bagong beauty pageant candidates and beauty queens. What advice can you give them? From someone who's my favorite beauty queen, one of my favorite beauty queens.
For the old normal, the new normal, my one piece of advice that I would give to aspiring queens still remains the same all those years ago, and that would be just to stay true to yourself, because you can't go wrong if you're being yourself. And as Tita Cory said, it's destiny. So if it's meant for you, if it's your time, then it's your time. The only thing you can really truly be is yourself. Like if you're putting on an act and pretending to be someone that you aren't, you're gonna get tired and it'll show. And then that's kind of like, you know, when like pageant bloggers like yourself, Tita Norman, you kind of follow the journeys of girls from pre-screening to period before the show, and you see how girls progress or not. And I feel like it's really those who are really true to themselves who are able to like be more consistent, and not only be more consistent, but as time goes on, like, you know, they shine even brighter because they're just being themselves. They're just enjoying the journey. And yeah, that's really my advice for me. That
Kasi nga, viewers, I can honestly say, si Rachel po, ang ganda-ganda po niyan. Pero pag nakita nyo in person yan, Diyos ko, mas ano kayo, mas mawiwindang kayo in person dyan dahil Diyosa in person yan. It's like, you're seeing right now dito sa screen, ang ganda-ganda niya. Pero pag in person yan, mas maganda pa po yan. So, yun ang sinasabi ko about yung virtual eh. Like, okay, you can see a girl na she's pretty on screen, sa laptop, sa phones nyo. Pero nothing beats seeing them in person, in action, yung physical, you see them speak face-to-face, you see them projecting in front of you. Yun ang maganda sa mga screening eh, Miss Cory and Maru, maganda sa screening. You can really see them even in some of their unguarded moments. Yung mga quick unguarded moments like Miss Cory, when you invited me during the screening of Mutya, Pilipinas last year, pumapasok pa lang ako noon sa Ascot. Sabi ko, oh my God, I think I know half of the girls here. And then, hindi pa ako nakapasok sa loob. And they would say, Tito, how are you dito? Sabi ko, oh my God. Sabi ko, kilala ko yung kalahati dito sa mga girls na to. So, talagang, when you asked me to go inside na, talagang, I chose na a sit wherein they would not they wouldn't notice me very well na para bang I'm observing them. And sabi ko, kilala ko itong mga batang ito. Kasi, in my experience in covering pageantry, I can honestly say that whenever they screen for a new pageant, it would be like half of them I already know personally because some of them, well, Facebook friends or have been introduced to me before. So I already have an idea of like who's going to do well here or not. So para ganun. So yun yung excitement. Kaya nga, iniiwasan natin yung virtual pageantry. I think one competition um, did one thing differently last year, wherein they did virtual for all the preliminaries, but they still um, taped us live for the finals. There was this one competition last year. Pero ang nakakatakot lang when they did that was during the actual taping of the live finals, a few of the candidates were tested positive for COVID, so they were stricken out of the competition on the day itself. Oo, it really happened last year. So, yun ang nakakatakot naman doon. So, talagang, and oo, natanggal talaga yung 3 or 4 or 5 of the candidates. Kaya yung natira na lang, ang talagang makikita mo na parang you're watching the Tatas Live Finals sa parang, where's si ganito? Nasaan si ganon? Ba't wala siya? Parang the familiar faces are no longer there because ayun pala, they tested positive and nag-contact tracing, kaya nagkahawa-hawa and the like. So, yun. Mamaru, ikaw, anong feeling mo about yung ginawa ng isang, well, hindi ko na, well, pasabihin ko na nga, ginawa yun ng Century Tuna last year eh. Century Tuna Super Buds yan. Wherein, they did the finals at taped as live. Talaga. Ganon ba? Kaya ba gawin ng Miss World Philippines yun?
Kaya, yes, definitely kayang gawin yon. But, yun nga, we should be, like what Miss Cory said, we should be more cautious siguro. Baka, yun, hindi na iwasan nagkaroon ng positive. I mean, baka hindi sila naka-in-house, baka kung saan-saan din sila pumupunta, kaya nakakuha sila ng virus, tapos eventually, nagkaroon ng hawahan or nagkaroon ng contact tracing, tapos, di ba? Or yung prior to the pageant itself, or bago sila na in-house, baka nagkaroon sila ng interaction with other people na nakakontak sila ng virus. So yun yung mga ganon. Dapat maging cautious din itong mga would-be candidates ng mga pageants this year na dapat they should protect themselves then. They should keep themselves safe and COVID-free, kumbaga virus-free when they are into pageants.
Okay. Ikaw, Rach, tanongin kita, hypothetical. What if, for example, Camarines Sur would host one of the national pageants and you will be the one in charge of looking after all the candidates? How do you plan to make sure na protektado yung lahat ng mga candidates? If, this is a hypothetical question lang naman, of course. Since you're the first lady of CamSur, and if CamSur would host one of the national pageants, how would you ensure the safety of the candidates and the organizers?
Well, Mick is an avid basketball fan, so he was really sad when obviously everything was stopped at the beginning of COVID, but then they found a way to keep going. And it's with, I'm not sure if there were actually people there, but the way they were able to keep going is they had a bubble. And so
Yes.
all the organizers, all of the players, some of the family members, they stayed in this bubble for I don't know how many months. And obviously being able to do that would be very expensive, but I feel like at a time like this, it's a good opportunity for people to come together, you know, each other's help, you know. So my businesses, for example, are in the tourism industry, and so if given the opportunity to partner up and do something wherein would be able to host people for like a month-long period, I would take that opportunity. Cost. But I feel like that's probably the most ideal and feasible way to be able to do it, is to create some sort of a bubble. But obviously this is something I haven't put that much thought into. I don't know how you would go about the saying Pageant will host 50% of the usual audience. But
Actually, that bubble thing, it was the thing ginawa ng Miss Universe Philippines last year when they all went to Baguio. There's a bubble wherein control the number of people who would enter the actual bubble, the candidates or yung hair and makeup artists and the like. But it's hard. It's hard because you cannot say that you have full control of everything 24/7 because of course, syempre, even if you're the organizer, you have a life of your own as well. And you cannot really say that patutulog ka na lang, you will worry about so many things. Hindi ka na makakatulog, so you'll end up being sleepless all throughout the pageant. So it's hard. It's hard. But anyways, may nagtatanong po dito. Sinagot na po ni Mamaru itong tanong na ito. From James O'Brien, kailan po Miss World Philippines pageant? Tentatively daw po either sa end of
May 30 or June 6.
June 6. Ngayon saan po gagawin? Isa pong malaking venue po yun. Pinagpipilian din po. Malaking venue po yun na alam nyo na po na pinagagawa ng pageant. So, it will happen. At Mamarubi, a controversial question para sa inyo. Hindi naman talaga controversial. Lalaban pa daw ba si Glyza sa international pageant? Yan ang tanong nila.
Okay. We're actually baka ma-preempt yung isang
okay. All right.
Okay.
Sige. Huwag ka gano'n. So, ano na lang. So, may chance na lumaban
may chance.
All right. So, yun po. Para masagot lang natin yung nagtatanong, Eman, may chance na lumaban si Glyza sa international pageant. Hindi na makapagbigay ng detalye si Mamaru because it might preempt something na na-excite ako kung ano yung mape-preempt na yun. Parang, kakaloka yung 8 title na yun. And, Miss Cory, ano naman ang, like, okay, I know that Mutya Pilipinas decided to skip on Miss Tourism International last year for valid reasons, of course. Oo. Pero because of that, honestly, Miss Cory, hindi ko na rin nasundan kung ano nangyari sa Miss Tourism International last month. Na dapat meron talaga. Pero hindi tayo.
January 20 ang pageant nila. Virtual.
Oo. So it's
21 if I'm not mistaken.
Again, pag virtual pageant talaga, yan that's the territory of mga telegenic and photogenic ladies. Ang swerte na mga maganda ang kuha because they will really stand out. Pero,
yes.
How about yung mga, may plano ka ba, Miss Cory, to add more titles? Or are you happy with the present crowns that you have? Ay, may ngiti siyang ganoon para bang meron ding surpresang gagawin.
So, totoo lang, before the pandemic, meron ng negotiations with an international title. It did not push through because of this pandemic. So, wait and see ulit. Of course, I have to defer to our chairman, Fred Yuson. It was his decision to defer because of the pandemic, obviously, for obvious reasons. So, we'll see. We will see. If it's meant for us, it will be with us. If not, we move on and just strengthen the brand and give every Filipina, every hometown girl an opportunity to be discovered in the barangays, in her appropriate barangays, where otherwise that she would not be discovered if she did not come to Manila.
Yun na nakakatuwa, Mutya is going for the Shine Hometown Girl hashtag. Miss World Philippines is going for that Fresh Filipinas for the World. Na actually gumawa ako ng episode dati, Mamaru, na Fresh Filipinas for the World. Ay, oo, gumawa rin ako ng gano'n before kasi nga feeling ko magkakaroon last year pero because of things nga. Pero maiba tayo sa pageantry Rachel. Pag babalik na ako sa pageantry Rachel, hindi na totoo sa pageant ang tatanong ko. It's about your future plans for Camarines Sur. Of course, this is not the best question for you. It should be the question for Migs. Pero ikaw, like, okay, alam ko, in Camarines Sur, yung mga kababayan mo, they look up to you as their parang inspiration ka doon eh. Parang you are your role model, inspiration, and you fit the role perfectly. Pero ikaw, what are your future plans? Not necessarily, hindi necessarily along the lines of magiging first lady, pero first lady ka naman talaga sa puso ni Migs. Pero what are your plans in Camarines Sur?
Well, actually, I'm thinking about possibly running for.
Ay! Gusto ko yan! Ay, yan ang gusto ko! Oh
Everyone
my God!
can assure you of that. No, but for real, the project that is very close to my heart and that I've been wanting to carry for a long time already. And I'm thankful for the pandemic because it really gave everyone a chance to kind of slow down and realize the importance of the coral reefs around the province. And so that I have started and I'm in the process of doing a reef rehabilitation program starting in Caramoan, which Tita Cory, we actually went to for Miss World.
Yes, beautiful place.
Yes. So that's sort of goal. Properly establish the reef in certain areas, have some time to breathe, to grow, and to just come to life again because it's so beautiful outside
Really.
and it can be so beautiful underwater. It's just a matter of it. Like it's a big take because you have to educate the fishermen. You have to educate, not just the fishermen, but everyone because they have been stuck in their ways for such a long time. They don't, whereas we have access to phones and National Geographic. David Attenborough's Netflix show is incredible. And so it's just a matter of sharing that information with them and helping them realize that you have to make a small sacrifice now and fish further out or elsewhere so that in a year's time, you are going to be able to catch way bigger and way more fish. So that is the goal for 2021.
Miss Cory, sa Karamoan. Yeah, sa Karamoan pa na nagsimula ang lahat.
Yes.
Miss Cory, ano? Oh my goodness. Tapos
sabihin natin sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan, kung meron kayong bakasyon or vacation plans, sige, iplano nyo pumunta sa Karamoan. Sobrang ganda. It's pristine. It's a sanctuary. I don't know if you will control the number of people there because those islands are just so precious.
Yes, thank you. They are. They're very beautiful. And we're lucky because we still having to go out. Like we never really were under very strict lockdown because Mick had to go and do relief. He had to go meet with people. And so we went all over the being Karamoan. And about Karamoan, especially now because Camsor has been hit by so many typhoons this year.
Yes.
A lot of people lost their homes, their businesses, are in the process of really and tourism will give the communities the push that they need to, really get back on track.
I'm very excited.
Rachel, so proud of you.
Nakaka-proud naman talaga si Rachel. Rachel, pag tumakbo kang mayor, ha? Balitaan mo ako na lahat everything. I will chronicle your campaign. Gusto ko marinig ang una mong speech. Pag parang kapit nakikita ko nagbibigay ng speech si Rachel in Uragon, in Bicolano, in Bicolano. You know, pag nagbibigay ng speech, Rachel, can you speak the local dialect?
That means konti lang.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, saan mababalak tumakbo for mayor? What part of Camsor, Rach?
No, that was a joke, Tito Norman.
Ay, nako, no! That's not a joke for me. Pagdating ko.
First lady ng Camsor, okay na yun.
Ay, nako, hindi yan joke sa akin. Pag sabihin mo lang, i-message mo lang ako na looks like it's going to come true. And I will say, okay, let's go for it. Go, ano tayo? I-promote na natin yan talaga. Nako, po-promote natin talaga ng pageant media yan at magkakaroon ka talaga ng additional mileage kapag ganoon. Nakakaloka. Ikaw, Mamaru, ano naman ang sinasabi mo? Kumusta pala ang mga reigning queens natin? Hindi ba sila naiinip? Tanong ko rin to kay Miss Cory after yung Mamaru. Hindi ba sila naiinip?
Akala ko, Tito Norman, tatanungin mo ako saan ako tatakbo eh.
Ay, nako, Batangas ka tatakbo. Sigurado ako. Oo, mananalo ka sa Batangas.
Anyway, yung mga reigning queens, actually, yun nga, naging problema rin namin during the pandemic is medyo natigil lahat ng activities namin. Well, so to speak. Talagang na-hold lahat ng mga activities nila. Eventually, may dalawang international pageants na mangyayari this year. Yun nga, Miss Eco International and Miss Multinational, and mangyayari yon. So yung dalawang remaining queens namin na hindi pa nagko-compete abroad will compete eventually this year. We will be coming up, dapat noon pa to, nung yung parang charity project namin. Hindi namin matuloy-tuloy because of this pandemic, pero nasa planning stage na siya. I mean, ready na yung mga goods na pamimigay namin. Hindi na lang namin magawa-gawa. Kasi nga, because of safety reasons. But yun, may involved doon lahat. Actually, initiative ito ng mga reigning queens namin. And yun nga, may mga products na kami, nakakuha na kami. Kaya lang, hindi pa namin maano yung date kung kailan namin pamimigay. But eventually, it will happen siguro, hopefully this January or early February. And ang target place namin is yung hardly hit by the recent typhoon, yung Rizal, one of the provinces na medyo badly hit by the typhoon, the recent typhoon. So Rizal ata, I think, yung target na lugar namin. But yun nga, totoo ka na medyo bored na, so to speak, yung mga reigning queens natin dahil nawalan kami ng activities talaga. Yung lahat ng mga projects, lahat ng mga activities namin dapat nagagawin during the pandemic na freeze lahat.
How about you, Miss Cory?
Pareho rin. Tulad na sinabi ni Mama Ru, kasi especially for Cyril Payumo, because she's the reigning Miss Tourism International.
Yes.
Wow, she was supposed to visit 3 or 4 countries last year. Na-postpone lahat yun. Na-cancel actually. It's sad because how often do you get to compete abroad, right? And then to win a crown. So, but what can we do? It's the way the world is moving. So we have to just adjust to the times. And all our other current queens, si Clyde Castro, si Maxine Rangel is now in Dubai. She decided to work in Dubai. And
okay.
Yes. And everyone else is just on standby until it's safe enough to go out and do some formal charitable activities or even do personal appearances. So ngayon, well, we cannot plan anything right now. But what can we do? I'm in touch with my girls, with our queens. And we have a chat group. So we're always texting each other how you're doing, tell us about your problems. You know, we become we have not lost our connection, or we have not lost touch with our queens. Even our top 40, our 40 candidates, we have a chat group and we're still in touch with them.
Oo nga, Miss Cory, na-remember ko bigla because since Cyril is the reigning Miss Tourism International, nawala na rin sa kanya yung chance to actually crown her successor. No?
Successor.
Na-cancel na nga yung mga foreign
The
trips.
virtual na
Tapos,
yun. It
oo,
will be a
yung virtual.
virtual crowning. We had to submit all the virtual requirements.
Ay, ano yun? Parang a-action na parang nagkukorona
Yes.
ganyan. Tapos superimpose yung ulo ng, ay,
Ano,
parang
hindi ko alam
nabibisi.
paano nila i-edit yun. Pero sinabit na namin lahat ng mga requirements ng MTI. And then our other queens like Tyra Goldman is, I think she left for the States and is supposed to be back in Cebu. We don't know yet, so we're waiting for word. But these are good girls, you know. They are
Yes.
mature for their age, huh? These
Yes.
queens, they're young. All of them are first timers. The ones that won are first timers. It's the first time to actually join a national pageant. So you would think na because of their age, kulang sila sa maturity. Pero hindi. Surprising that they rose up to the occasion, and the real lady in them came through. Very proud of our queens. Our first batch,
Yes.
2019.
Oo. Pero hindi ko pa rin ma-imagine talaga yung gagawing editing doon sa video na may panoramic shot si Cyril ng kukuronang ganyan. Tapos biglang ipupush na ganyan yung isang video sa ilalim na yung mananalo parang magkakaroon ng corona, pero actually yung corona ilalagay sa kanya. Naroon din sa studio na kasama niya and everything na parang it's so complicated. Just thinking about it, parang it's so out there. Parang when I first experienced yung coverage of a virtual pageant and yung mga winners, sanay na ako na meron akong shots talaga ng coronation ng mga winners. This year, kinuha ko yung best shots ng winners, tapos kumuha ko ng picture ng corona nila, and I had to cut it out para ilagay sa ulo nila para yung winners pictures nila parang naka-corona sila, but it's really parang it looks fake pa rin syempre. But what can I do? Kumbaga, you just have to be creative. Okay? So we've come to that part of the show where all of our guests will be giving their parting words to everyone. Promote anything that you want to promote. And give our message of optimism to everyone, especially those following us in pageantry. Let's start with you, Rach. Mayora. Let's start with you, Mayora. Ay, Mayora na agad ang tawag. Nakakaloka.
Oh no, what have I done? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you, Tita Norman, for having me on the show. It's really an honor to share this afternoon with you, Drew and Cory. Nice to see you after so long. Thank you for tuning in. Here we all make a comeback. It was a hard year for a lot of people. But this is a fresh start, so stay positive, stay optimistic, because it can only get better from here, you guys.
It should. It really should. Kumbaga parang when you're down, the only way to go is up talaga. You need to really look at that with optimism. Mamaru, parting words mo and anything that you'd like to promote.
Okay. First, I would like to thank you, Tito Norman, for guesting me here in your show. I'm so honored to be, sabi mo nga, one of your favorite pageant personalities. And I'm so honored to be guesting in your show along with Rachel and Miss Cory. So parang, wow, ang leveling. So again, thank you, and hopefully yung 2020 was a very, very bad year for all of us. Hopefully the 2021, this year 2021 will be a fresh start for all of us. It will be a better year for all of us, and I'm optimistic and hoping and praying that 2021 will be better, will be a better year for all of us. And this early, I'm inviting every one of you to watch the Miss World pageant, which will happen sometime late May or early June. And for all those aspiring beauty queens, there's still a chance, there's still chance to apply. So apply na kayo for Miss World Philippines and Mr. World Philippines. Yung Mr. World Philippines pala, isigit ko lang, Tito Norman, will be happening, and later I will talk to you about this pa rin.
Ay,
I will invite you then
Ay!
as one of the judges during
Go,
the weekly finals. Lagi,
Go.
alternate tayo. It will be a sort of a screening on TV. So yung Mr. World lang yon. Yung Miss World is a normal pageant. Yung Mr. World sa TV, isang TV show siya na nauumpisahan namin. So yun lang. So I'm inviting every man and women na aspiring to be beauty queens and ano ba yon, male pageant kings?
Yes, pageant kings.
Okay, to join Mr. World Philippines and Miss World Philippines. Thank you, Tito Norman.
Ay,
Thank you, Miss
excited
Cory,
ako.
and thank you, Rachel.
Maraming Diyos ang sasali sa Miss World Philippines, for sure. Marami nang nagpasabi sa akin. Miss
And
Cory.
this early, ang dami namin nakuha na, actually.
Yes. Exciting. Miss Cory, your parting words and anything you'd like to promote for us?
Unang-una, marami pong salamat, Tito Norman, for guesting me here and giving us the opportunity to share our vision and our hearts with all of you. Happy also to see our queen, Rachel Peters, to touch base with her again. And Mama Ru, thank you, Ren, for being with us this afternoon. I'm happy that we're all together. And yun lang, di ba may isang kasabihan, the best is yet to come, and the best is coming. But we have to believe and keep the faith, as they say, keep the faith. We've been through a rough time in 2020, but it proved one thing. We survived. We all survived. So 2021 is bringing a lot of hope and promise for all of us. So don't give up on beauty pageantry, because beauty pageantry will not give up on you. This is a message to all aspiring beauty queens. Whatever beauty pageant you join, if you have a dream in your heart to be a beauty queen, follow your heart. God bless you.
Ano ba yan? Pag ganyan naman talaga ang parting words, nakakaloka. Hindi ko na masundan yan. Talagang bathaluman na yung nagsalita ng parting words. Ay, mga follower talaga. Well, and with that, I really like to thank my guests this afternoon, Miss Cory, Mama Ru, Rachel. May nagtatanong po dito, ba't ko daw sinama si Rachel dito? Favorite pageant personalities nga. Kaya nga, siya ang favorite, isa sa mga favorite. Alam niyo po, pag ako tinanong talaga, sinong favorite beauty queens ko, mabibilang ko sa isang kamay ang favorite ko. And Rachel is one of them. Kasi kailangan na-meet ko personally, kailangan pag-spend time ako with Si Mama Ru, Diyos ko, hindi na kailangan itanong kung bakit. Diyos ko po, sa mga pinag-usapan, pinagdaanan namin yan. Oo, Diyos ko, hindi ko pwedeng publish or i-vlog. Si Miss Cory, ako palagi, I've said this earlier, when I first got to meet her personally due to Miss World Philippines, parang ang tingin ko pa sa kanya noon is just in a pedestal na parang hindi ko siya maabot. But she went out of her way, she reached out. Tapos Mutya, Pilipinas, talagang totally reaching out, talagang she's mingling talagang, kumbaga, sabi ko, if the beauty queens and the candidates are looking to her like a mom, ako talaga, ang tingin ko sa kanya, parang tita talaga. Yung bang, you cannot really, you cannot deny the fact na yung presence niya is very nurturing. So, given na yun talaga. Kaya nga, nagsama-sama tong tatlo, parang tingin ko sa kala, favorite pageant personality. Si Rachel yung parang niece, favorite niece. Si Mama Ru parang favorite sister. Si Miss Cory parang favorite tita. Parang ganoon. Nakakatuwa lang, parang it goes full circle pag ganoon. Kasi kung kasama natin si Raymond Villanueva of PPCI, favorite ninang ang tatawag ko doon. Favorite ninang. Kaya lang sayang nga hindi siya nakasama eh. But anyways, maraming salamat po for joining us this afternoon and thank you so much to our guests. Ang saya-saya ko lang dahil napagsama-sama ko si Ma'am Maru, si Miss Cory, at si Rachel. And hindi ko po, yung sinasabi ko po, 2-in-1 lang talaga sa akin yung fact that pinadiscuss ko rin sa ating mga guests yung plano nila for the respective national pageants this year. But in general, I want to start my first episode with my favorite pageant personalities. Hindi lang po silang tatlo, marami po ako bang favorite pageant personalities. Kaya I can only accommodate so much for one episode dahil para makapag-focus tayo mabuti talaga eh. Kung di pa, kung more than 3 or 4 pa yan eh, paano ko pa mapag-usapan yung pagsagip ni Rachel doon sa nalulunod sa Camp Sur? Paano pa masasabi yung isang gabi nagkasama kami sa isang kwarto ni Mama Ru sa Misamis Oriental? O, paano ko ba ikukwento yung screening ng Mutya Pilipinas last year? Talagang tuwa ako nun talaga because she made me feel important that time. Kaya natutuwa ako gano'n. Parang si Mama Ru din, he always makes me feel important. And si Rachel, pagkasama mo yan, she really feels like she's looking out for you. Yun ang mga gusto kong mga qualities. And thank you very much for keeping us company this afternoon for episode 6 of Pageantry Norms. Abangan niyo po ang episode 7 next week. Naluloka po ako because as I've said, every season we make one episode na all male ang guests. Next week po yung all male and maluloka po kayo sa guests namin next week. Iniisip ko pa lang, I don't even know how it all will unravel next week, but it's going to be exciting. And abangan niyo po yon. And this has been your blogger and vlogger Norman from normannorman.com and Pageantry Norms. Thanking you everyone. Stay safe and always think positive because 2021 will bring us fulfillment of some of the unfinished dreams during 2020. Thank you for joining us and let's give a flying kiss to everyone. Mwah! Let's give them a big flying kiss, Rach. Mayora. Let's freeze na si Mayora. Yes. Yes. Huwag muna kayo umalis agad po ha pag nag-off broadcast tayo, magkukuha lang tayo ng isang group photo natin so that I can yes. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Bye-bye po.